Your second step is to add or subtract the dollar amount of the discount, tax, or tip from or to the original amount. So once you figure out what your discount is, what your tax is, or what your tip is, you got to make sure you add it or subtract it to the original amount to get your actual answer. So finding the original sale, sometimes you're given a sale price, and the discount amount and what you want to find out is the original price. So your steps are to subtract the discount percent from 100. This will give you the percent that you are paying. All right, and I'll show that with the example down here. So you're going to divide the sale price by the percent paid, written as a decimal. All right, so guided practice. Find the new price if a $200 television is discounted at 5%. So I'm going to show this two ways. One is a little bit more work intensive, one's a little bit more direct using this method. All right, so rewrite the percent as a decimal, keeping in mind that that is 5.0%. So we're going to move the decimal 2 places to the left and get 5 cents. All right, so kind of think of that. Your per cent, you're writing it as a cent. 5% is 5 cents. You're going to multiply it by the original number. So I'm going to say 5% times my original amount is going to give me $10. And again, we are discounting. So that means I am taking it off. So I know I'm going to subtract. I'm going to look for those keywords. I'm discounting, so I'm going to subtract. When I say 200 minus 10, I get $190. All right, or I could go this way. 100 minus 5% gives me 95%. So my decimal would be 95 cents. I'm going to say 95 cents times 200, and it gives me 190 straightforward. So both methods work. This one is a little bit more broken down. That one's a little bit more straightforward. Use whichever one you like. For this guided practice, find the original price of something that is on sale for $13.20 and was discounted for 22%. So we are going to subtract the discounted price or discounted percent from 100. So I have 100 minus 22 is 78%. So keep in mind that is going to be 78 cents. I'm writing it as 78%. Divide the sale price by the percent paid. So I paid $13.20. We know the zero is not necessary, but I'm putting that so that I remember this is money. Divided by 78% gives me $16.92. So that is my original amount that I paid. So we can check our answer, find 78% of the answer. You should get $13.20. So when I take my $16.92 and I multiply by 78%, I get about 13.197. We just need to round. And it comes out to be $13.20, which is my original amount. Next page, simplifying each expression. This is order of operations, and if we need to revisit that, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Parentheses, exponents, multiply and divide in whatever comes first, add, subtract, whatever comes first. So I have 50 times 80% gives me 40. 50 minus 40 is 10. So what I'm essentially doing is the last example, instead of finding this and then subtracting it, I'm doing it all at once. So this would be a discount of 80% from my original amount, and I'm just doing it all in one step. This one is a little bit more broken down. 20% of 50 is 10. What do you notice about the answer? They're the same. When you want to find a new total, when you want to find the new total after the discount, tax, or tip, you often have two options. So again, you can either multiply by the discount or you can multiply by what you're actually paying. Rewrite the tax tip and amount as a decimal and add it to 1. Simply multiply this new number by the given price and total. Right, for example, a 6% tax is paid on top of a $20 shirt. You would multiply 20 times 1.06 to get the new price of $21.20. That is this. There's 50 minus 1.08. The 1 is the one total of $50 or 50, whatever it is that you're talking about. And the same thing for a discount. So if I am paying on top of, I think of 1 plus the percent. If I'm doing a discount, taxes and tips add on, so I'm going on top of. Discounts are discounted naturally, so they're going to be subtracted. So I'm doing 1 minus my percent and multiply this by the new given price and total. For example, a $50 game is discounted by 10%, so I'm going to multiply 50 times 1 minus 10% gives me 9%. 1 minus 10% gives me 90%, and that is where that came from. And $50 times 90% gives me $45, and there's my answer. Moving on, percent change is the extent to which something gains or loses its value. We are comparing old and new values. Right, we're comparing the change, the old and the new values. To calculate the percent change between two numbers, your first step is to subtract the original from the new number. New minus the original. So I'm going to make a little formula cheat sheet over here. New minus original. Then we're going to divide the difference by the original. New minus original over original. And there's my formula. Multiply your answer by 100 to turn it back into a percent. If you have a positive answer, the percent change was an increase. Negative answer signals a decrease. I am actually going to highlight that so I remember that if you have a positive answer, that means there was an increase. And if you have a negative answer, means a decrease. So your guided practice, we are going to find the percent change between 540 and 400. So I'm going to do the new minus the old and get a difference of negative 140. I'm going to divide by the original and get negative 0.26. Multiplied by 100 gives me negative 26. Therefore, there was a 26% decrease. And that also makes sense because 540 decreased to 400. So I am expecting a decrease. And the last page of notes is talking about simple interest. Simple interest is interest calculated on the principal balance, the original amount, aka original amount. The formula to calculate the amount of simple interest earned, use the formula below. I equals P times R times T. What do the letters mean? I equals the interest earned. How much money you made off your investment. P stands for principal amount, which again is the original amount. R stands for the interest rate. Make sure you rewrite as a decimal. And T stands for time in years. So I equals PERT, PRT. Interest rate, principal original amount, rate is in a decimal, and T is time. Guided practice. It's going to be pretty straightforward. You are finding the amount of interest earned on a $450 deposit that was left on an account for 7 years with a 2% interest rate. There's my P, there's my R, there's my T. Initial deposit, $450. Interest rate, 2%. As a decimal, I think of, again, 2 cents. Time is 7 years. Equation, I equals P times R times T. Oh, I did that backwards, but as long as you have those 3 pieces in whatever order, it doesn't matter. So when I multiply all of this together, the amount of interest earned is $63 over 7 years. To find the new total, we're going to add this amount of interest onto the original deposit. The new total amount in the account after 7 years is $450 plus that $63 of earned interest. Tells me that in this account I have a total of $513.